Hey, hey, Facebook Live, come on in, come on in. Come on in, you guys. Great evening, great evening. Hey, you guys, let me know who's here and where you're tuning in from. Y'all hear the sizzle, sizzle? Your girl is cooking. Don't tell nobody. Don't tell nobody, okay? Y'all come on in, come on in. I want to talk to you a little bit about your thoughts, your mind, okay? Let me know who's here and where you're tuning in from. Come on, y'all. Come on, come on. Hey, Sean. How are you? North Carolina. Throw your hands up. What? Hey, Sean, I'm going to be there January 8th. I'm speaking at an event. I need to get you the details so you can get you a ticket. Hey, Linda. Love you, beautiful. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yes. So you guys, listen, while I was cooking, I wanted to share some things with you. You know, today is day 15 of Forward Focus 21, 21 days to set focus and propel you into destiny. And today is about purge. Today's word is purge, right? And the scripture deals with what is in your mind, in your heart, not your body. So I wanted to talk to you guys about not letting your thoughts consume you. And y'all may say, Dr. B, why do you want to talk just about not letting our thoughts consume us? Well, because this is what happens. What happens is you start thinking certain things, right? And as you think certain things, you begin to speak certain things. And as you speak certain things, you begin to engage in certain actions. And you engage in certain actions, you produce certain outcomes, right? So it is in our thoughts. Our thoughts produce our words, which produce our actions, which produce our outcomes. So the reality is that what we do is we create our reality with our thoughts. And when we understand that, and we know we're thinking something that's off, you have to begin to change what? Your thoughts. And as you change your thoughts, you'll change your words. And as you change your words, you'll change your actions. And as you change your actions, you'll change your outcomes. Change your outcomes, you change your reality. I'm just talking about not letting your thoughts consume you. Because we have a tendency to fall into a pattern of stinking thinking. That's that thinking that's not beneficial to us. It's not productive. But listen, it's the way our mind works, right? So, for example, we experience something that's good, right? And then we feel like it's too good. And because it's too good, we want to cancel it, right? We don't want to believe it. Hey, cousin, how are you? We don't want to believe it because, listen, this can't be happening to me. So we began to allow our thoughts to dictate our actions and our words, and we begin to say things that point in a different direction than the direction that God intends for us to go. So, how do we change all that? We change it by making a decision, a conscious choice to eliminate those thoughts that are not productive, that don't move us towards our destiny and our future, and begin to focus on what the Word of God says, on God's promises, on what God has already said about us, about our situations, about our destiny. And then we can change what we get and we can change our reality. We want to change our reality without changing any thoughts, and it doesn't work like that. We want to change our reality without changing any actions, and it doesn't work like that. So it means that we've got to do some things a little bit differently, and that's okay. So sometimes we feel like different is bad. It's not bad. It just is that there is a reality that we have to face, and that reality is sometimes our thinking is off. Sometimes our thinking is flawed. Sometimes our thinking is the problem. We don't think it's the problem, but it is the problem. See, the problem is not that the world is against you. The problem is not that you encounter tough times, right? Everybody encounters tough times. The problem is you allow the tough times to dictate what you think, right? To cause limitations in what you believe about yourself and your situation and your circumstances. And so therefore, you begin to produce certain things. So what happens if instead of allowing our situations to dictate what's happening for us, we begin to create what we want to happen? Like, that's where I am, right? As we're preparing to go into 2022, you got to get real clear about the vision. Hey, Allison, how are you, beautiful? Got to get clear about the vision. So there's some things that I already know is going into my strategy session for 2022. 2022, it's about travel. Like, I'm traveling. Y'all listen, I want to go places. Like, I really do. I want to go places. I want to, and not just go places and stay at the Motel 6. I'm talking about go places in style, go places and stay in luxury. Like, that's important to me. I want to have more time to do things with my family. So I want my time back. It's time for me to really tap into being a 6-7 figure earner. Like, that's like, it's time for me to make my first million. Come on, y'all. It's time, right? It's time. There's no reason why I haven't already done it, right? But sometimes we'll allow our thoughts to dictate. We'll allow our thoughts to say, well, because I haven't done it yet, that means that I'm not going to do it. The devil is a lie. This is my year. So that means that I got to do some things differently. Got to do some things differently. Got to think differently. Got to move differently. Got to change some connections, some circles. Got to do all of that in order to get that which I truly desire from God. And it's okay. You know, we think that it's bad when we have to change relationships and, you know, begin to change how we interact with people. But y'all, come on now. This is a part of the reality of life. The reality of life is that relationships change. Somebody say relationships change. Yeah, they do. Relationships change, and because they change, we have to change also. It's not a problem when we have to change how we relate to people, but we take it as a problem because we're so accustomed to everything staying the same. And we feel like that's a good thing because we feel like that's what loyalty is, when everything stays the same. No, y'all, come on now. Come on. Some stuff you can't take with you into 2022. Now, you can take it if you want to, but you're going to miss out on what God has for you because you chose to keep some things that were supposed to be gotten rid of. Not me. Not this time. Not 2022. 2022 is all about me making the necessary adjustments in my thinking, in my words, in my actions, in my relationships, in order for me to tap into the full promises of God. You see, I'm a praying, slaying, what's the last one? Working woman. And it should show up in my life. So why would I allow myself to stay stuck when I don't have to? And you don't either. You don't either. It's not God's desire for us, right? When we're children of God, his desire for us is to have his promises made manifest in our life. So tonight I was talking to my sisters. So this is I don't know, I'm different, okay? But this is a quick little fact about my family. My family is very eclectic and diverse. And we have in our family some siblings that haven't always necessarily been included. I'm inclusive though. So for me, I'm like, hey, it's enough room for all of us. It's enough room for all of us. All of us can have relationships. All of us can coexist. Like, there's no one set that's better than the other. Listen, we all can be a part of the journey. So for me, when I get to see my other siblings and talk to them, I love that. So I saw my sister, and I hadn't seen her since my other daddy's funeral. And that's been probably about 3 years now. And I got to see her, and she was like, "Sister, I miss you." Y'all, can we take a moment and be honest about our families? Sometimes our parents have just made choices that put us in tough spots and didn't give us the opportunity to build relationships with people. And while this is not biologically my sister, it's still my sister. I consider her my sister. And as we were talking, she said she was nervous about seeing us, you know? And I was like, "Why were you nervous?" And she said, "I don't know. I just was nervous." And I was like, "Look, we love you. We may not talk all the time, but it doesn't change the fact that we love you. We got to do better. We got to do better." My prayer is that we would stop the foolishness that existed with our parents' generations of all these family secrets. Like all these family secrets. You got siblings and stuff you don't know nothing about, people that you ain't met, things that transpired that nobody wants to talk about, but people know about. Like, come on now. Life is too short for that, and we need each other. So it's imperative that we start to move like we need each other, because we do. But it requires us to be honest. It requires us to acknowledge some things that we may not necessarily want to acknowledge. That our parents cheated, that they had children, outside children and stuff. You know, we don't want to deal with that stuff. But look, some of that stuff is just the reality. So what? Listen, stuff happens. It's not their fault. So we've got to do better. But how do we do that if in our mind we say, you know, oh, if I've got siblings, that if my parent cheated, then I don't want to talk to them because I don't want anybody to know that my mama, my daddy cheated. I don't want them to know that they had outside children. Listen, y'all, we don't have time for that. The way that God is moving, particularly in this season right here, it's so important that we begin to embrace one another and love on one another and treat one another with the respect that we deserve, because you don't know who you're going to need when. And the other thing is, listen, we can't let money, we can't let all these things get in the way of our relationships. The reality is that we're in some trying times that will test everything about your character. It will test your, like, it'll test everything, but it's life. So my question is, are you more concerned about how it looks? Or are you more concerned about being who God needs you to be? Because at the end of the day, if we will be who God needs us to be, if we will show up the way he needs us to, if we will allow him to use us for his glory, if we do that, we'll be amazed at what God is able to accomplish in the earth realm. And then maybe we won't be so consumed with looking like, huh, and we'll be more consumed with being like. You know, the word talks about having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. And I think sometimes we get caught up in that instead of getting caught up in him. I'm sorry, y'all. My phone rang. So we just got to do a better job of being who God needs us to be so that He can do what He needs to do, not just in our lives, but in the lives of others. And know that at the end of the day, it's all working together for our good. Now, when we do that, baby, we change the game, honey. We change the game. And that's how we produce something different. I love God too much not to focus on not just looking like I fear Him, but actually fearing Him. Not just acting like I love Him, but actually loving Him. Not just act like I want to kind of be like Him for show, and really focusing on being like Him for real. And being like Him is sometimes uncomfortable. Like, you can't fake it. Like, it's got to be real. It's got to be genuine. It's got to be authentic. So let's get genuine. Let's get authentic. And let's get clear. On next week, I'm doing 2022 vision strategy sessions. And if you want to know more about it, comment vision, and I'll send you some information about it. Like, really, we're getting clear about God's vision for our lives and for the next year, and developing strategies as well as visual representations of it. So it's more than just a vision board. Like, it's a strategy for accomplishing those things that God has put in our heart. The desires that He places in our heart come to our hearts for a reason. There's purpose in it. Let's manifest those things unapologetically. Listen, don't let your thoughts consume you, not those negative ones. Instead, focus on what God said, His promises, His love, His grace, His mercy, His plans, and His intentions for you and your life. And let's do that. Let's do that together. Listen, you guys, I love you guys to life and life more abundant. Have an amazing night. Be blessed. Mwah.